Patreon.com/the Walk Off Podcast. $4 a month gets you in there.
Shy, honestly, man, thank you so much for always being so generous with your time with us here. I know you've got a heart out, so we're gonna pass the torch over to Adam here for listener questions. If we don't get to them, I know we'll get in trouble with the listeners. So, Adam, all yours, bud.
All right, so we did cover some of them already, but we got about three left that we'll try and get to here in the last 6 or 7 minutes. So first
Yeah,
one
sounds good.
comes in. First one comes in from Rinks. Wants to know, what do you see coming from Kevin Biggio this year? Second base seems to be a logjam. Difficult for me to see where he fits or gets regular at bats.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm not sure are there 400 at bats out there for him? That's interesting. Is it more closer to 250, 300? Right now, he's a bit of a Swiss Army knife, right? And there's opportunities for him to play in the outfield, play at first base, play at second base, maybe in a pinch, jump in at third base. But it's a left-handed bat that you're going to need at certain points. Someone who can come in off the bench or during the game, really good base runner who can just do a number of different things for you against certain pitchers, right? You think about the slop tossing righty who's sort of in and around the zone and trying to get a lot of outs on strike to ball pitches. You know, he's perfect for that type of guy, and for certain other pitchers too who are really sort of strike to ball oriented as opposed to guys who are maybe challenge you, who have the stuff to challenge you and beat you in the zone. So there's certainly a role for him. He's somebody that I would look at as the type of guy who helps get you there. Like every team needs someone like him. So there's certainly a role for him. It just may not be as big as you previously envisioned, at least as things stand right now.
Well, that's a good thing, right? That means we brought in a bunch of big stars. So
Yeah,
that's a
exactly.
positive
Like,
way to
I
look at
mean,
that.
you just want a lot of useful players on your roster, and there's
Mhm.
no argument to be made against him being useful. Like, this is not like Ghost K Kato on your roster, right? Where you're like doing everything possible to not give him playing time.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, next one comes in from Mr. Krister. Wants to know, which new acquisition do you think will overachieve and surprise Blue Jays fans the most? And is there a
Hmm.
particular addition that you are personally really excited to see on this team?
Well, so a lot of this hinges on health, but if Kevin Kiermaier is back physically to where he's been, I mean, I'm sure a lot of Blue Jay fans have noticed him against the Blue Jays and like the chaos creating agent that he can be on the field. Like he's a lot of fun to watch play, right? Like one of the most dynamic defenders in the game, super athletic, throws caution to the wind. He's a guy who's really enjoyable to watch. Um, Blue Jays fans loved Kevin Pillar, and Kevin Kiermaier throughout his career has just been a more talented Kevin Pillar. And so if his hip is going to allow him to be physically what he's been in the past, then I think he's going to go beyond expectations. If he's sort of like a 700 OPS guy playing his level of defense, that's great. Uh, things fall right, maybe he's a high 700, low 800 OPS guy, and so maybe he's got a chance to do a little bit more. And just think, if he's on base, he's going to score a ton of runs at the bottom of that lineup, setting the table for George, Bo, and Vladdy. So I really think he's got a chance to be a bit of an X factor. Like I think you're expecting a little bit more from Dalton Varsho. You're expecting a little bit more from Brandon Belt. With Kevin Kiermaier, just play good defense and defend yourself with the bat. But if he gives you a touch more and just maybe overperforms a little bit, he's got a chance to be a pretty significant game changer.
Awesome. Okay, last one here comes from Jimmy Post. Wants to know, does Shy think we have the pitching to win 95 plus games? And who is the fifth starter out of spring training? And is Shy short for anything?
Okay, Shai is not short for anything. It's a Hebrew name, and that's what it is.
Okay.
Uh, who is the fifth starter? Great question. So there's a pathway, and I think if the Blue Jays had everything kind of go the way they ideally would like, it's Yusei Kikuchi in the rotation because he's made enough adjustments to be reliable, with Mitch White in the bullpen. but it could be the inverse of that. And right now, the way things stand, it's really got to be one of those two guys, and then see what happens during the season. Does Ricky Tiedemann make enough strides that he's putting pressure and pushing towards that? Is Hayden Younger going to be a guy who can start as opposed to maybe being a bullpen option? And I know that a lot of people in the organization on the player development side were very, very excited by the progress that he made last year, and quietly thought that he was someone that they could have thrown up to the big leagues and he would have been competitive. But whether or not that would have been fair to him or the team is a different discussion. So yeah, that's the way I think it sets up right now. And do I think they have enough pitching? Like, you just think about the way this season went for the team last year. They went, what, 92 games? Uh, you know, are they 3 games better? I think they certainly have an opportunity to be 3 games or more better. We're talking about really thin margins, and you just think about some of the dumb defensive plays that you saw happen during the season. And, I mean, they lost a game in Seattle because, a ball ripped through the webbing of Vladimir Guerrero's glove, right? Like,
Multiple times.
yeah, I mean, but one time in a pivotal situation
Yeah.
where
Right.
it would have ended an inning versus,
For sure.
opened up an inning. So uh, these like weird things are going to happen. You're going to have losses like that, 162 games, weird things will occur, but being a little bit tighter defensively and perhaps a little bit better in the bullpen, at least the way it's shaping up right now, you figure there'll be incremental gains, and 95 wins certainly seems possible.
All right, Shi, we won't keep you any longer. We love talking Blue Jays and baseball with you. Thank you so much for coming back on the show, my man. All the best in 2023. And darn well we'll bug you again down the road to come back on. So thanks again, man.
Yeah, no worries.